part D of the Cantan Game Reflection. I'm going to be talking about the similarities and the differences between global trade and Catan. So the three similarities that I found were the U.S. taxing aluminum from Canada, the USMCA or United States Mexico Canada agreement. Not necessarily that one. Any agreement, realistically, you could use the Asia Pacific agreement. And then Saudi trading with U.S. mainly oil and weapons. So the first one, US taxing aluminum. Basically, this is similar to me getting a tax on brick near the end of the game. Near the end of the game, what ended up happening was a lot of people still needed brick, but they were able to get it in different ways, which meant that my brick was less valuable to them, which put a material tax, as you could say, on my brick, because it now became increasingly harder for me to sell brick or for me to trade off brick with the other players. Same thing here. The United States put a huge tax on Canada's aluminum, and because they did that, it made it increasingly harder for Canada to trade aluminum with the United States because it's so much more expensive to do it. So it's less likely and a lot less supplies will be traded with the United States. So as you can see, my brick is like Canada's aluminum. The other players are like the United States. And they both put mental taxes, material taxes on our products, making it increasingly harder to trade off. The next one is giant trade agreements. Like I said, USMCA or Asia Pacific Agreement, which is basically a large team up. So in day 2, me, Jason, and Nishan meet. We all needed materials from each other. So we ended up having a 4-way trading route where we all depended on each other and all benefited off of each other. Same thing, like the Asia Pacific group, a lot of countries benefit off of each other because there's such a large group of countries that everyone can get what they need from everybody else. This makes it very important and a very powerful trading agreement because material is flowing so much that no one country is struggling. Same thing in the game. None of us were really struggling at that point when we were all trading for the materials that we needed. So as you can see, the connection would be making large agreements with every country or every player possible makes it so that you can gain all materials that you need in order to be as profitable and as successful as you need to be as a country or as a player. The last connection I'm making to the real world is Saudi trading oil with the United States for many different products, mainly weapons, because that's the most predominant trading thing that they do with Saudi for oil. This can be seen between me and Darius. As you can see, Saudi trading oil with the US has made both countries very profitable, both countries very powerful, and such a strong trading force within the global trade. Same thing here. Me and Darius, when we partnered up, we became a strong trading force and we were able to fight back Bronson, who was at the time winning the game, because Darius had something I needed and I had something he needed. We were able to trade back and forth to profit off of each other. We became a stronger individuals and a stronger team. So Saudi's oil would be like my brick, and United States' weapons would be like Darius's sheep. We traded back and forth between each other and had specific deals. That way we could both profit off of each other. Same thing here. Saudi has specific deals with the United States in terms of their oil, and the United States has specific deals with Saudi in terms of their weapons. They trade back and forth, making each other very profitable and very strong countries. But that trading partnership between them is very strong, and it's helping them a lot in terms of the global trade. Now the differences would clearly be how hard it is to make an actual trade agreement. As you can see, so far it's simply just been can we trade? Yes, no, okay, cool. A little bit of negotiation, but not that much. In the real world, there's clearly so much more negotiation that goes into it. There's contracts, there's tariffs you have to consider, there's who's a good trading partner, what's your future risk, what's future potential income, can you make a partnership out of this, can you make more agreements and more efficient agreements out of it. The broader idea of trade is a lot more complex in the real world than it is in this game. And then lastly, one of the other differences is the agreements. As you can see in our agreement, everyone benefited off each other. But in the USMCA, the United States Mexico Canada Agreement, which is a pretty big agreement, the United States clearly benefits the most off of this, which means that the difference between the two large agreements is that in the real world, the negotiation factor really matters because within the large agreement, one country could benefit so much more than the others. Whereas in the game, it's usually everyone benefits off of each other. So the clear difference is having that different beneficial factor within the agreement. Whereas in the game, it's an equal beneficial factor. And that's all for the game Catan Game Reflection. And yeah.